While Terence Crawford is often regarded as unbeatable, doubts arise when his name is mentioned alongside Canelo Alvarez. Experts seem less convinced about his chances. In fact, many argue that Crawford is entering a battle he simply cannot win. Sean Porter, a seasoned fighter who has gone toe-to-toe with boxing's elite, understands what it takes to compete at the highest level. When it comes to Crawford versus Canelo, he expresses serious concern. Canelo's proven success, combined with his power, size, and experience in heavier divisions, poses a massive challenge for Crawford. Although Crawford's technical skill is beyond question, jumping up in weight to face someone like Canelo is an entirely different kind of test. Some believe Crawford's speed and precision might give him an advantage, while others feel Canelo's strength and physical dominance will be overwhelming. The debate continues, but one thing remains undeniable. If Crawford accepts the challenge, it will be the most difficult fight of his career.
Others say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo, he's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam.
The ERS breakdown puts a spotlight on 2 crucial elements: power and size. Canelo doesn't just throw heavy punches, he lands fight-altering blows that can instantly change the momentum. His strength has consistently been a deciding factor against top-tier opponents, making him a serious threat to anyone in the ring. While tactics and skill are important, Canelo's raw force is capable of grinding down even the toughest fighters. His ability to land devastating shots gives him a clear advantage, especially when matched up with a naturally smaller opponent like Crawford. This specific element alone casts major doubt on Crawford's ability to endure Canelo's power for a full 12 rounds. If Terence Crawford finds himself overwhelmed by Canelo Alvarez's early onslaught, lasting all 12 rounds could become nearly impossible. Canelo's known for his unrelenting power and smart aggression, and his likely game plan would center around applying pressure early to wear Crawford down before fatigue becomes a factor. This makes the task even more intimidating. Edgar Berlanga, a fighter familiar with boxing's most powerful punchers, has a unique perspective. When discussing the possibility of Canelo facing Crawford, his reasoning in favor of the Mexican superstar was both candid and telling. Berlanga sees Canelo's power, experience, and size at higher weight classes as a massive advantage. Though Crawford is supremely talented, stepping up to fight someone as physically imposing as Canelo is a risky move. Given Canelo's ability to alter fights with one punch, many feel this would be Crawford's toughest and perhaps unwinnable challenge.
Think of that fight?
I truly believe, that anything can happen in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that favor Canelo is that his.
Berlanga brings attention to a critical factor that could spell trouble for Terence Crawford: Canelo Alvarez's size and physical edge. Naturally built for heavier divisions, Canelo holds a clear advantage in terms of power and physical dominance inside the ropes. His punches carry more weight, and his capability to break down opponents through continuous aggression makes him an especially difficult opponent. As Crawford attempts to rise in weight, he's entering unfamiliar territory against a fighter whose expertise lies in dismantling challengers. The mere size difference fuels speculation about Crawford's ability to endure Canelo's sustained pressure throughout the bout. Acclaimed trainer Joel Diaz, who's mentored world champions and dissected high-stakes fights, doesn't mince words when analyzing this potential showdown. He challenges the storyline being sold to fans and clearly doubts Crawford's chances. Diaz believes the size and power disparity is simply too large for Crawford to overcome, seriously questioning whether he can realistically defeat Canelo.
And give Crawford millions of dollars, great, but don't try to come and try to fool me, telling me that Crawford can beat Canelo. There is no way that Crawford can beat.
Joel Diaz's doubt isn't rooted in media hype, it's based on practical reality. Canelo Alvarez has spent his career going toe-to-toe with fighters who are naturally bigger and physically stronger. His durability, power, and wealth of experience make him a dangerous opponent, especially for someone like Terence Crawford who would be moving up in weight. While Crawford's talent is unquestionable, the challenge he faces against Canelo is immense. The physical mismatch, coupled with Canelo's strategic acumen and experience at higher weights, shapes Diaz's firm belief this is a battle Crawford may not survive. Adding another perspective, promoter Eddie Hearn looks at the fight through the lens of business. Though experts widely believe Canelo would dominate Crawford, Hearn questions whether Canelo would even be motivated to take the fight. His reasoning is straightforward: Canelo likely sees more meaningful challenges ahead, and facing Crawford might not offer the payoff he desires.
I think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight.
Hearn's insight exposes the reality of how boxing is perceived. Even if Canelo Alvarez thoroughly defeats Terence Crawford, some critics might discredit the win by claiming Crawford was simply undersized for the bout. This puts Canelo in a difficult spot. If he wins, it's seen as expected, but if he struggles, it opens the door for criticism. Canelo himself seems aware of this dilemma. He knows that taking on a smaller opponent might not earn him the respect a champion seeks. With other, larger challenges available within his own division, Canelo might see little value in pursuing a matchup where a dominant win leads only to more questions than accolades.
Feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 weights plus less than me.
Nevertheless, if the fight becomes a reality, Canelo Alvarez would approach it with complete focus, aiming to dominate from the very first round. For Terence Crawford, it's not just about handling a size disadvantage, it's about proving he deserves to share the ring with a seasoned powerhouse like Canelo. Teofimo Lopez, famous for his confident opinions and sharp analysis, shared his thoughts on this matchup. He believes that Canelo's superior strength and familiarity with heavier opponents would ultimately decide the outcome. According to Lopez, Canelo's constant pressure and knockout power would make it extremely hard for Crawford to dictate the pace. While Crawford's adaptability and technical brilliance are undisputed, going up against an elite force like Canelo is a challenge of a different magnitude. Most experts tend to agree Crawford might be taking on more than he can handle against a fighter built to dominate stronger, heavier opponents.
Decision or stoppage if they fight in May, Canelo and Crawford? Decision or and why does Canelo beat him? You know, before you get out of it.
Listen, we can have the skills and everything, but jumping that much like that, jumping like that much, getting hit, I don't think Crawford's ever fought a fighter that hit him directly, just straight, constantly in the arms. And it's not because they can't, they don't think that way.
Appreciate you.
Gotta clear it up, guys. Remember, this man's been pro since what, 14?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
15.
Yeah. Doesn't make a big difference.
Lopez focuses on an important aspect: Crawford has yet to face an opponent who relentlessly attacks while dishing out damaging blows to all parts of the body. Canelo's method revolves around systematically breaking his rivals down, punishing them with heavy body shots before targeting the finish. His ability to maintain pressure and deliver powerful strikes could place Crawford in unfamiliar and dangerous territory. Though Crawford is extremely talented, managing the force, style, and physical power of Canelo is a whole different kind of fight. Lopez believes that this constant, smothering pressure might be the toughest hurdle Crawford has ever encountered. With Canelo's extensive experience at the highest level and his ability to land crushing punches, Lopez suggests that Crawford's usual defensive sharpness may not hold up. The sustained aggression, combined with the brutal impact of Canelo's punches, could overwhelm Crawford in ways he's never faced before. But Lopez didn't stop at analyzing the challenge, he offered a bold prediction. He sees the fight ending in more than just a loss. In his view, Canelo won't just outbox Crawford, he will systematically dismantle him, making it nearly impossible for Crawford to see the final bell. According to Lopez, Crawford is entering a fight that could end in a harsh, one-sided beatdown. Lopez's prediction is intense, but he stands by it. Canelo's mix of strength, power, and experience could be too overwhelming for Crawford to handle. The physical demands and Canelo's relentless fighting style could turn this matchup into a losing battle that Crawford may never be able to control. Danny Garcia, a former world champion respected for his insight on challenging matchups, added his voice to the conversation. He offered a direct warning to Crawford about stepping into the ring with someone as powerful as Canelo. Garcia fully understands the danger, acknowledging that facing Canelo at a higher weight might be the most hazardous risk Crawford's career has ever seen.
What round does Crawford get knocked out? I'm gonna put 8. Let's put it on the universe. So I'm gonna put it on 8. 8. And if it goes the other way, I 8. You know, I 8. So yeah, Ryan, Joe, and Eddie Reynoso also. That'd be cool, man. We all get work. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our own underground boxing, me and Ryan, before we fight.
Danny Garcia's words bring attention to a tough truth. Canelo Alvarez's dominance at 168 pounds poses a major threat to any challenger, even one as gifted as Terence Crawford. Though the matchup could represent a defining moment in boxing history, the physical disadvantage might be too steep for Crawford to climb. Keith Thurman, another former champion known for his sharp boxing IQ, has a deep understanding of what's required to win high-profile fights. But when it comes to Canelo versus Crawford, his concerns extend beyond just what happens in the ring. Thurman believes that for Crawford to have a legitimate shot, every element must align perfectly. From preparation to execution, Crawford will need to deliver a flawless performance. Facing an opponent who is bigger, more powerful, and vastly experienced, even a small mistake could prove fatal. While Thurman respects Crawford's skills, he views this fight as one where nothing short of perfection will allow him to pull off an upset.
You know, at the end of the day, they're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, you know, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically it's a great fight. But, you know, Canelo, he's a big dude, and I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, you know, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, you know, to make the biggest fight.
Keith Thurman paints a vivid picture of just how steep the climb would be for Terence Crawford. Talent alone won't cut it. Crawford must dig deep both physically and mentally. Yet even with perfect preparation, the sheer force, experience, and size advantage of Canelo Alvarez make this fight feel nearly insurmountable. Canelo's constant pressure and sharp precision could be the factors that separate a career-defining victory from a devastating reality check. Every meaningful edge appears to tilt toward Canelo, setting the stage for Crawford to fight an uphill battle from the opening bell. Legendary fighter Roy Jones Jr. brings another layer of insight. While most focus on Canelo's weight advantage, Jones stresses something even more crucial: Canelo's tactical approach. He argues it's not merely about size, it's about Canelo's ability to dictate the pace, control the ring, and seize command from the very start. That ability to control the flow adds to the danger Crawford will face unless he disrupts that rhythm.
I want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where if he really wants to win against Canelo, he's going to need to do everything, you know. You're going to need to run uphill. You're going to need to train in high altitude. You're going to need to do every little thing that gives you that, you know, athletic edge, and lots of pre-fight meditating. You know, you got to see victory before the victory manifests.
Roy Jones Jr. makes it clear Canelo Alvarez's tactical style will be the deciding force in this matchup. If Canelo sticks to what works, steady pressure and raw power, Crawford could find himself overpowered. However, should Canelo overcomplicate his plan or drift from his usual style, Crawford's sharp reflexes and adaptability might open a path. The question then becomes whether Canelo can remain disciplined or if Crawford's counters will steer him off course. A single lapse in focus could shift momentum entirely, keeping this matchup compelling despite the obvious size gap. Chino Rivas, a seasoned trainer with deep knowledge of both the physical and financial tolls of boxing, offers a blunt take on the potential bout. He understands exactly what's at stake and sends a warning to Crawford: fighting Canelo at 168 pounds is an enormous risk. For Crawford, this is no routine challenge, it's a defining test of whether elite skill can truly conquer raw size and force.
going to be the factor. The factor will be how Canelo chooses to make the fight. Canelo comes out there what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. Canelo comes out and does what he shouldn't do, Crawford wins the fight.
Rivas doubles down on his warning, underscoring the brutal test that awaits Crawford at 168. This bout isn't just about cash, it's about surviving one of boxing's toughest scenarios. While a fight with Jermall Charlo at 154 may appear more feasible, stepping up to face Canelo at super middleweight introduces a far more dangerous equation. Rivas urges Crawford to weigh the risks before chasing a payday that may carry a significant physical price. The gap in size, the difference in power, and Canelo's experience at that level all combine to make it a perilous challenge. Chiron Davis, who has shared training spaces with both Crawford and Canelo, adds a unique perspective. Having personally felt Canelo's size and power, he knows what Crawford would be up against. Though Crawford's technical ability is elite, Davis doesn't view this as a walk in the park. The size mismatch and Canelo's ability to apply constant pressure could turn this into one of the most punishing fights of Crawford's career.
Canelo's just too big, and he's just a different animal. You know, leave the Canelo for the big boys like the David Benavidez, the Morel, you know, all the others, you know, coming in that weight class. And Crawford's smart enough to understand, you know, even though it's a payday, just leave that alone. I mean, unless they talk about they guarantee him $15 million, well, you know, and then you know, it's a business aspect as well. But other than that, I think he shouldn't. I prefer to see him fight Charlo at 54 instead.
Chiron Davis acknowledges Terence Crawford's incredible skills, but his primary concern is the power and size Canelo Alvarez brings to 168 pounds. Crawford might remain competitive with technique, but Davis doubts that alone can counter Canelo's physical presence and seasoned experience at the weight. In Davis's mind, this fight hinges on who can control the ring physically, and that edge goes to Canelo. Renowned trainer Robert Garcia offers his seasoned take, always backed by careful analysis. When assessing Canelo versus Crawford, Garcia looks past raw ability. He zones in on strategy and execution as the deciding factors. According to Garcia, Canelo's talent for managing the pace, closing off space, and capitalizing on any misstep gives him a strong advantage. Crawford may be technically elite, but facing off against a powerhouse like Canelo, who has mastered the art of ring control, presents a towering challenge.
You know, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford. It'll be a tall task for him. It'll be a lot. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on, you know, size alone. Not that size won't fight, but you got a guy that got size and skill. And it'll be hard. I mean, nothing's impossible. But if I had my money on somebody winning the fight, it'll be Canelo Alvarez. You know, Terence Crawford is a great fighter.
Robert Garcia doesn't sugarcoat the challenge. He sees Canelo Alvarez's physical edge as something that could drain Terence Crawford over the course of 12 rounds. Despite Crawford's world-class boxing pedigree, Canelo's unyielding pace and adaptability make him the likely fighter to take command early and maintain it. Garcia foresees a decision win for Canelo, not due to a lack of talent from Crawford, but because Canelo's all-around game enables him to dominate without relying solely on knockout power. Stephen A. Smith, famous for his no-holds-barred commentary, weighs in with his own view. His stance is crystal clear: Crawford's technique may be top-tier, but Canelo's physicality could be the tipping point. Smith points out that even if Crawford lands clean shots, Canelo's ability to walk through punches and keep pressing forward will make it nearly impossible for Crawford to dictate terms. The mixture of experience, power, and pressure might be too much to handle, making this an uphill battle from start to finish.
What's a smart bet on Crawford Canelo? Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. And you have to bet?
Yes.
I say Canelo by decision. I've been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously his strength, his weight,
experience.
Takes off.
Stephen A. Smith brings up a vital reality: if Terence Crawford can't hurt Canelo Alvarez, all the skill in the world might not save him. Canelo's relentless pursuit, especially once he senses vulnerability, can spiral quickly into trouble. Smith admits Crawford might be able to outbox him momentarily, but in the long run, it's Canelo's aggression and power that could prove decisive. If Crawford can't stop Canelo's forward march, the danger only escalates until the inevitable comes. Ryan Garcia, a rising star familiar with high-level pressure, offers his perspective. He knows exactly what it means to square off with someone like Canelo and is aware of the physical demands. While he respects both fighters' skill sets, Garcia clearly sees an edge for Canelo when it comes to strength and size. For Crawford, going against such a physically dominant opponent could turn into a truly uphill struggle.
Concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming. Similar to how he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. If Canelo catches him, it could be trouble.
Ryan Garcia sums up the challenge with a clear focus: size and strength matter most in this clash. While there's no disputing Crawford's exceptional skill, Garcia believes Canelo's physical dominance could be overwhelming. This isn't just a battle of technique, it's a test of brute force. Canelo's size, combined with his power, may prove too much for Crawford to counter. Despite the buzz around the fight, Garcia has no doubts Canelo holds the advantage. Adonis Wilkins enters the conversation with a sharp eye for detail, pointing to what may be Crawford's undoing: the weight difference. While Crawford has shown he can compete at 154, jumping to 168 and facing someone like Canelo is an entirely different ordeal. Wilkins offers no illusions. He puts it bluntly: Crawford may be skilled, but overcoming Canelo's strength is a task that begins at a serious disadvantage.
What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's going to be a great fight too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason.
Adonis Wilkins outlines a steep path ahead for Crawford at 168 pounds. Though Crawford's technical mastery is undeniable, Wilkins believes that against someone like Canelo, his power and speed could be dulled. Even with flawless technique, the sheer physicality Canelo brings may simply be too much. Canelo's knack for exploiting weaknesses, paired with his size and power, leads Wilkins to confidently back the Mexican star. Coming down from 175 pounds, Canelo would still maintain a significant advantage, making this a punishing task for Crawford. Dennis Thompson Jr. adds to this with his own analysis, reflecting on Canelo's past success moving up in weight. He sees Canelo's toughness and adaptability at higher divisions as game-changing factors. Thompson points out that Canelo's stamina and strength, built from fighting bigger opponents over the years, could completely overwhelm Crawford, allowing him to dictate the pace with ease.
If the paperwork is signed up and finished, if Crawford can get him to come down some weight,
No, it's going to be at 68.
that's a bad look for Crawford. I love Crawford, dog. I think he's real talented, but you see him at 154 going up in weight class, and he kind of struggled. He didn't struggle, but that weight was definitely a difference. To go up another 2 weight classes after that, we're going to see a lot slower Terence Crawford. Yeah, his boxing ability is there, but Crawford don't hit like Canelo. Canelo's coming down for that fight. It's going to be rough.
Dennis Thompson Jr. highlights the fact that Canelo Alvarez has consistently proven he can handle bigger opponents, showcasing his control at 168 and beyond. With an aggressive style that thrives on physicality, Canelo wears opponents down with unrelenting power. Thompson believes this gives him the edge over Crawford, who would be making his first leap into the super middleweight division. Although Crawford's technique is superb, Thompson argues that maintaining speed and form while under constant pressure from Canelo is a monumental task. Over 12 rounds, Canelo's track record of grinding opponents down could put Crawford in serious trouble. Showbiz the adult, never one to shy away from controversy, puts a spotlight on what may be the most decisive factor: Canelo's weight. He insists that no matter the skill levels involved, the sheer physical difference could be what settles the outcome in this highly discussed clash.
I think coming up September, we got Canelo Alvarez, we got Terence Crawford. What's your thoughts?
I think I take Canelo. I feel like I ain't really like Bud performance when he moved up the first time, and I feel like Canelo might end up breaking him down. The difference is, well, we find bigger guys, they be much stronger and too, they're coming down from a higher weight originally. So it'd be that. their punches be a little stronger, and you moving up, you might feel a little sluggish. You might not be at your same speed and stuff like that. You might be a little off.
Showbiz the adult makes his position clear. Terence Crawford's usual strengths like footwork and speed won't be enough at 168 pounds against Canelo Alvarez. He believes Canelo's superior strength, hand speed, and ability to trap opponents will neutralize Crawford's strategy, leaving little room to maneuver. As the rounds progress, Showbiz predicts Canelo's pressure and track record at higher weights will become an unstoppable force. With more experts weighing in, a consensus is forming. Canelo's physical dominance is the major obstacle in this matchup. From top trainers to ex-champions, most agree that while Crawford is masterful, the weight gap is simply too large to ignore. Against a fighter who thrives in heavier classes, even Crawford's brilliance may not be enough. So the question stands, can Crawford pull off the impossible, or will Canelo extend his legacy as boxing's undisputed powerhouse? One thing's for sure, this is a fight the world won't stop talking about.
Listen, dog, Crawford fans, I've been trying to say this, dog. Canelo at 168 is all wrong for Crawford, dog. He ain't gonna do what he did. He's gonna absorb Crawford's shots, he's gonna catch and shoot, and he's gonna rip some shit. He's gonna cut off the ring, he's gonna even counter. He got faster hands than you expect. Canelo hands faster than Madrimov. Brother, you think he was strong at 150, and Madrimov was strong at 154. Canelo at 160 is diabolical, bro.
If you enjoyed the fight, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more knockout content only on Knuckle Forge.